right, what is up, guys? We're back live again, and as we were saying earlier, we're here in NAMM 2019 interviewing some of the coolest companies, coolest musicians that are walking around doing the coolest things, and I'm excited because I'm a drummer, okay? And this guy right now that I'm about to talk to has created one of the most revolutionary products for drummers in, I would argue, decades, you know? And so I have Mr. Florian, and wait for it, I'm gonna try and pronounce his last name, Florian Simmendinger.
You got it.
Beautiful. I got it. Okay, so Mr. Florian, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you take it away because you have a product that I think most drummers know about at this point. Go ahead and just give us the lowdown of what you're bringing this year.
Yeah, sure, of course. So if you're a drummer, you may have heard about the Soundbrenner Pulse already. So that product is, of course, already out since 2 or 3 years and been used by a lot of different people out there, musicians from all walks of life, including some great musicians like Luke Holland, J.R. Robinson. And
it blew us all away when we saw it. As drummers, we were like, what is that? You know, it was crazy.
In case you don't know what it is, it's basically a vibrating metronome. So our idea was, what if you could get rid of the annoying sound, which everybody thinks is torture, and instead you could feel it. And of course it works with an app, so you can set it up on the app. You can just tap the beat. You can go 1, 2, 3, and it will pick it up and follow along.
And I can see the app already
exactly.
working. Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet. And then you can strap it around your chest, arm, ankle, whatever you want. So that's the existing product. But now for NAMM, for this year, we have something brand new that we show off for the very first time ever, which is on my other wrist. So here I'm having the Soundbrenner Core, and you can already see it looks even sleeker than the Soundbrenner Pulse. It's thinner, it's smaller, and it's a whole new thing that we've been secretly working on for 2 years.
That is crazy. Guys, I literally have spent the past 15 minutes just playing around with this watch because there's so much going on here that it just blew me away. And as a drummer, the first product was amazing because feeling the metronome on your hand or anywhere else, I wear it on my wrist, it's definitely a trip because I'm so used to hearing the blips in my ear for years. All of a sudden, there's a device that allows me to feel it almost like a second heartbeat. But now you're telling me that this new watch that looks sleeker, it looks amazing, also has other features as well, not just the metronome. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about what this new product is going to be doing?
Yeah, of course, we'd love to. So basically the idea behind the Soundbrenner Core, which is the new version, what it's called, is it takes away friction from making music. You know, as a musician, you always have to worry about bringing so much gear, and there's so much things that hold you back from playing more. And so we got a lot of feedback from the Soundbrenner Pulse, over 10,000 emails from customers that had suggestions, and we took the very best of that, worked on it for 2 years, and came up with the Soundbrenner Core. So what does it do? Well, it's not only a vibrating metronome, but it has in total 4 tools built in. So it's a 4-in-1, and the idea is you wear it every day as your regular watch, and basically you have professional music tools at professional quality with you wherever you go without having to worry about charging it, bringing it with you. You're just always ready to go. And so one is the vibrating metronome, and one of the highly requested features was to add a display, so you could actually, when you tap the beat or when you twist with the wheel to make adjustments, you could actually see what you're doing. So that's one of the biggest new things.
Right, because before it was with the app, right? You had to sync it with your app to see what you were doing.
Exactly. So the app is of course nice, but then you have to take out your phone, and sometimes that's appropriate, but sometimes it's just so much more convenient if you can just tap and you see it and you're ready to go.
Right.
So that's pretty sweet. But even sweeter is the addition of the contact tuning. So we didn't just want to add a MEMS microphone, which is essentially the same as a smartphone. It's not very accurate. It doesn't work in loud environments. We wanted to basically come up with something really innovative that actually works great. And in order to do that, we had to come up with a pretty smart system, because how do you attach a contact tuner in a watch to a guitar? Right? That's a huge design challenge. Do you want people to take off the strap and hang it onto the guitar? That's kind of awkward and not really convenient. So we worked a long time. I think we went through over 50 iterations of different models and 3D prints. And then we came up with this system where you can just twist it off like this.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Now I'm ready to attach it to a guitar. So fortunately, I don't have a guitar with me right now, but I do have this
that's the guitar right
magnetic case. So you have to have some imagination and fantasy. Imagine this is a guitar. And now I can just go launch the tuner app here on the device. So basically, let me show it in the camera. You can
look how sleek that looks. That looks.
You can navigate through the menu, and you can launch the tuner. And now right now we have a demo to showcase how it looks. So basically, once I attach it to my guitar,
Look at that.
I
Clean.
can start tuning it. And you'll see the LED is guiding you. It's telling you which note you're tuning and in which direction to go. And it's super accurate. It works in loud environments. It's truly a professional tuner. And then once I'm done, I just have to snap it back right in, and that's it. So isn't that awesome?
That's amazing. I mean, you don't have to, you were describing on how you were thinking about what is the best way to actually attach it to your guitar. How did you come up with just taking it off? Because seeing it makes sense, but I imagine when you were prototyping it, like you were saying, you probably had like 50 different versions. So how did you figure out that that was the best way?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of different challenges to solve because of course, it can never ever fall off by accident. So
right.
How do you do that, for example? So that was one of the key challenges, and we went to the world of climbing equipment, where literally your life depends on the clip not opening. And we were inspired by that, and we came up with a system where not only the magnet is holding it in place, but automatically the moment you put it on, it's twisting sideways, and through the magnetic force that happens automatically, so you can never have it halfway on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest challenges. And then of course the whole sizing. We wanted to make it smaller than the Soundbrenner Pulse because that one's pretty large, and we wanted to add 2 screens, a contact microphone, a MEMS microphone, and make it smaller. So that was a huge design challenge as well.
And you guys nailed it. Okay, so we have the tuner, we have the actual metronome. What are the 2 other features that we've got?
Well, yeah, so the third one is just the watch, so you can,
which you need. You need
can
to
tell
know the time.
and actually it can also do smart notifications. So if you have a phone call, if you get a notification on your phone in any app you may have, you will get to read it here on the device.
That's cool.
So it's just a smartwatch, basically. And the fourth one is also in the realm of music, and that's all around. Let me show you again here, if you can zoom in the camera. It's a decibel meter. So at any point in time, I can open the app. I see the current decibel in the room. I see the average of the last 5 minutes. In the app, I get even more statistics. And what's pretty cool is that you can actually set a threshold, so you get alerted when it gets too loud and you're actually hurting your ears, which I can demo. It looks like this.
Look at that.
So then basically you know to take action, to use earplugs, to play with less volume, to go somewhere else, wherever you go. So essentially it's a smart helper that looks out for you.
Yeah. There's so many questions that I have and so many things I could talk about. We don't have enough time for all of those things. But I want to reiterate how cool this concept is, because as a drummer, I feel like our side of the industry, we have our set devices that we've used for years, which work, But when the first product came out, it completely revolutionized the way that I saw how to keep time, because it basically changed how I keep that time. And now that you're having this brand new watch, you're essentially making my life a lot easier, because now I don't have to necessarily have my phone out anymore. I can play drums. I can be at a gig. I can check to see what time it is if sound check is over. I can set a timer or set a threshold to see if I need my plugs or not, see if it's too loud, and then set that metronome to go, and I'm ready to go. And then I can become best friends with the guitarist, because I can take it off, click it on his guitar, and then he can tune, because it's just not in tune. You know what I mean? I think you guys are completely making our lives easier, man. I mean, I think, was that the original goal when you started this company? Did you set out to try and revolutionize this, or did you make it for yourself? Like, what was the inspiration behind these products?
Yeah, I mean, basically, my co-founder and me, we're also 2 musicians. We're both from Germany. We started in Berlin, and we looked at what was happening everywhere in the world of technology, and it was just amazing. The smartphone came out, and it revolutionized everything. But then here you go to your biggest passion in life, music, and it feels like you're going back 20 years, because
everything's analog still.
You have of course amazing, beautiful instruments, and I think those are one of the things we don't want to touch, that are heritage and great. But then there's all the stuff surrounding it, where we saw a lot of potential to bring in better design and better tech to remove friction. Because if you ask our customers, that was the feedback we got. Like, there's so many barriers between you and making music, and we want to remove those so that it becomes easier to put in the work, to practice more. It becomes more fun when you actually play and perform, and That was the goal we set out to do with this product and also for our whole company.
And that sounds, I mean, it sounds like your head is definitely in the right place. And right before this interview, we were talking very briefly. You guys also went to CSS. I think it's CCS or CSS?
CES.
CES, right, in Vegas just a couple of weeks ago. And even before I talk about that, I want to say how I think us musicians sometimes, and I'm including myself in this, we don't really see the tech world as it having a lot to do with our world, because you were saying, I mean, we're playing instruments. Obviously, there's some technology involved, but we don't think of it as techie stuff. You know what I mean? But you were just at the technology convention in Las Vegas, one of the biggest ones, and people were raving about you guys, right? I mean, I think CNET wrote about you guys. What was it that they described you as, or what did it describe your product?
Yeah, I think the headline we got was, if Iron Man had a guitar, he would tune it with this watch. So
exactly.
That's a pretty cool headline.
Exactly, and it's one of the best headlines to probably have with a product that's geared towards musicians, that's geared towards drummers, guitarists, anyone that needs something like that. But I personally think it's a great thing to have that recognition from the tech world, because I argue that technology, in its essence, is saving us all time. You know, your phone, Uber, when you think of all that stuff, it's essentially giving you your time back. And I think that's what you're doing with this product. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's probably the main goal and what customers are going to get when they buy this product.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just going to remove unnecessary things you don't like about making music. Who loves, you know, if you ask guitar players, they have 5 clip-on tuners, one's out of battery, 4 are in the wrong place, you lose them all the time. Same for the metronome. It's not a awesome, exciting experience to play with an annoying click in your ear, right?
Not always.
So basically, all those things we're trying to remove, and we really try to be super focused on real problems that really matter, you know, because with tech, it also goes easily into the direction of, you know, you're just making gimmicks that don't really matter. So
yeah.
we look at it from the perspective of the feedback we get from our customers and focus on the biggest problems they have.
Absolutely. Now, for a returning customer, someone who had your previous product, I think you were mentioning earlier that your new product is backwards compatible. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, one cool thing with the Soundbrenner Pulse was that you could actually synchronize multiple devices. So if you play in a band, you know, the bass player, the drummer, and the guitar player, they can sync up super easily through Bluetooth.
Nice.
And now one of our goals was that the Core can also work with the Pulse. So if you already have a Pulse, you can give it to someone else in the band, or maybe someone just wants to have the metronome and nothing else and buys this. So you should be able to sync that, right? So that already works pretty nicely. So I can basically let's set up a rhythm. So here's our app, which, by the way, if you don't have it yet, you can download it. It's free, and it also works as a classic metronome for iOS and Android. We now hit over 2 million downloads, which is also pretty insane, right?
Congratulations, man. That's amazing.
So you set it up. Now I have a 4/4 with an accent on the 1. I hit play, and now I get, basically, if the camera can show, I get that beat on both devices in sync.
That's
crazy.
Pretty sweet.
Look at that. There you go.
That's pretty sweet, man. I mean, it's the tool, in my opinion, I think I keep saying this because I'm a drummer, so I'm super just blown away by it, but it seems to me like it's definitely one of the tools, one of those absolutely need to have tools of this generation for musicians. I'm curious, do you think, and maybe this is just speculation, but do you think your product in the future might make the traditional metronome obsolete? Do you think that's probably in your company's future, or do you think your product would just become another section of itself?
I think from the feedback we've gotten so far, it's like a whole different dimension, like you said. So we've heard from more advanced drummers that they like to use it separately or together with the audio. It depends. So it's kind of like a new, like it expands your understanding of rhythm, is what advanced drummers say, who have a lot of experience with click tracks already. And then for beginners, it's kind of easier to get into it, like let's say kids in education.
Yeah.
They get into it and they only rely on the vibration, so that works. So I think it's not necessarily our goal to replace the click. It's up to each drummer. You can combine it with the vibration. You can replace it. I think what we care about is just to put more tools in the hands of musicians, and they have the option and they can choose.
That's interesting that you mentioned about the kids, because obviously I think as a society, there are certain things that we do because we're taught, or that's just how we learn. If kids are using your product, do you hear feedback from parents or from themselves, from the kids themselves, saying that they prefer that? Is that something that you guys have done research on? Or?
Yeah, of course. Like if you're already used to playing to the click track for 10 years, and you have something whole new, it can be
night and
intimidating
day.
to start essentially a new learning process, right?
Right.
But then if you're really into music, as I said, then you love that journey too, and you will expand your understanding of rhythm, and you will improve it because it's something so new. And then for the beginner side, they don't have that heritage of playing to a sound, and they get into it from scratch, and they just love it. So we have a lot of teachers who write us that they bought it for class, and it's just been a blast with students. You know, they love it. It's something new. It's new technology, and they're really excited to use the metronome, as opposed to going like, oh no, I have to practice to a click. So
Yeah.
So that's been great too. Yeah.
Now I'm happy for you guys. And so for someone that's looking to buy this product, someone that wants to get it for themselves, maybe get it as a present or something like that, you were mentioning that you were taking pre-orders. Where can people go to find this product?
Yeah, right. So the Soundbrenner Core we launched on crowdfunding, first on Kickstarter. Right now we're on Indiegogo. It already raised over $600,000 in pre-orders, which is
nice.
Amazing for
That's
us.
amazing.
Of course, we're really excited about such a great response. And the good thing is, if you pre-order right now, you get a discount. So the retail price later is going to be $199, and if you pre-order on Indiegogo, you get it for $179 at the moment.
Nice.
So that's pretty sweet, and we'll ship this year. So the wait is not going to be very long.
Absolutely. And there's no extra cost for shipping or anything. It's all one flat fee.
Exactly. You can all, just go to Indiegogo and figure it out there. It depends on the country, but in the US, I think it's included.
That's fantastic. When can we expect all of these to be up and running?
Yeah.
You know?
So the Pulse, of course, is already available and widely distributed. So that one you can get straight away at Guitar Center, Sweetwater, Thomann, all over the world, Amazon. This one will be ready for shipping in July.
July of this year.
July of this year.
Wow, incredible. That's a lot. That's a big, quick turnaround. So I'm really happy for you guys. Obviously, you're here at NAMM showing your new product. For the viewers at home that cannot attend NAMM this year, is there anything unique happening at your booth, or do you guys have a booth, or are you just walking around?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that all the people who already pre-ordered, the thousands of people, they can now, for the first time, come to our booth and try it out. So that's, of course, something we've never shown the product before in person. So we're really excited about that, and that's our big highlight for NAMM.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing your information on the product. I was curious if you had any questions on the audience. For Mr. Florentino here. Or I'm sorry, not Florentino. I'm so sorry. I gave you the wrong name. It's your last name. It just trips me out. I can't say it. Mr. Florian. I was just curious if there was any other questions from the audience or anyone that had any questions for Mr. Florian about the product, or maybe just about himself, maybe.
Yeah, actually, J.R. Robinson is one of your endorsers. Who are some of the other people that have been using the product? That's one of the questions that came through from Caffeine.
Yeah.
I added the JR because I knew that. But
like some of the artists that use the product?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, depends on the instrument, but of course the metronome, that's the beautiful thing. It's universal, right? So I would say for drummers, I mentioned already, J.R. Robinson, Peter Erskine is another big one.
He doesn't need a metronome, though.
He doesn't need a metronome. I mean, these guys, they're amazing. When I watch them, I'm just in awe. It's an honor to see them perform live and look over their shoulder. It's amazing. I remember doing a shoot with JR, and he was like, "Give me 133," and in 1 second he was just locking in. It's just insane. He's a machine.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I love his playing.
And then for bass, Robert Bobby Lewis. He's an awesome bass player with crazy style, and yeah, many others. There's so many. So, like we have now tens of thousands of people using the Soundbrenner Pulse, and every day I see 10, 20 posts on Instagram, Facebook of people playing music with it. And as a creator of a product, that's the biggest compliment. People don't buy it and throw it in the corner. They actually build a habit, they change their life, they practice more often with a metronome, and that makes me the most happy of everything that surrounding the business.
That's awesome. Any more? All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's much appreciated. I'm a fan. I'm like fanboying out right now because of your product. Like I'm saying, it's one of those things where I feel like these kind of products only come once in a decade. When you see something that makes sense. And I mean this as a compliment because I have so many drummer friends touring and all that. When we come to NAMM, sometimes we're like, hey, sometimes you see the drum sets, you see the cymbals, they're all essentially the same. There's some improvements, but they're the same. Then you get something every now and then that's like, that's cool. I need that. And that's this product, guys. Like, as a drummer, I can 100% endorse that. That's the product that I want. And I think it's one of those in the next decade. It's going to be one of those must-have tools for musicians. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. That's our goal. We want to get one of these onto the wrist of every musician and tackle even more challenges in the future. And of course, there's a whole world of software where there's so much more possible than we even talked about with set lists and digital audio workstations integrations. And yeah, I think the future for making music is going to be awesome, and we hope we can contribute more innovations like these. And yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely,
man.
It's
been amazing.
Well, guys, make sure to check out the product. Make sure to check out what they're doing. I guarantee you, drummers specifically, you'll love this product. Absolutely love it. Thanks again, man. Enjoy NAMM 2019, man.
Thanks.
Hell yeah.